What's going on, CashSports family? How y'all doing today? It is CashSports. Like I said, I'm Cash. Y'all already know what it is, man. It is the CashSports podcast. I keep saying it. I probably said it 3 times already. Beetlejuice probably about to pop up on me. But man, I'm here. I'm ready. I'm ready to talk some sports, and I'm ready to give those betting odds, just like I said. So I know the game just kicked off between the Commanders and the Bears. I'll be honest though. I didn't watch that game. I wasn't gonna watch that game. I'm gonna keep it a stack with you on that one, man. I didn't want to watch that game. Thursday night games, even though they have been somewhat exciting in the beginning of the year, Thursday night football just has like a history around the middle when it starts getting to around the mid-season, and when these teams start, when they start. You start looking at these teams and you start to realize, like, Commanders and Bears, like, really, like, you sat here and that's what you scheduled, bro. Like, this is the best you had to offer, So, it could have been a divisional game, it could have been anything like that, but you put Bears and the Commanders, man. I'm looking at it right now. So, Bears, they had like 20 first down compared to the Commanders 14. Apparently, the Bears had some really bad red zone situations, but I do know that it did come down to the wire. They were 4th and goal, but they just couldn't manage to capitalize in the red zone. So this is the reason why the Chicago Bears didn't win the game. Washington Commanders were able to sack Justin Fields 5 times compared to Chicago Bears sacking Carson Wentz 3 times, right? And then obviously, or not obviously, but Justin Fields threw an interception and also had and there were also 2 fumbles by the Bears, right? So pretty pedestrian game. Ended 12-7. We already know what happened last week between Denver Broncos and the Indianapolis Colts. So like I said, man, I'm not in the mood to watch no boring ass game between the Commanders and the Bears. Like I said, I'm just gonna keep it a stack with you on that one. I was not interested. But I know what you guys came here today. Y'all came here to look at some betting odds, right? We're going to look at some betting odds. We're going to look at these games. You already know how I go about it, right? So I go game for game, and then I give a little synopsis on what I think, who's going to win the game. But you guys don't have to follow me when you're placing your bets. I'm just giving my pennies for thought, things of that nature. So we're just going to go game for game. We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about the matchup, then go from there, right? So let me bring this up for you guys. Boom, right there, baby. That's what I'm talking about. Them betting odds. I know you guys love to see it. But before I get into that, right, before I do that, please like and subscribe to CashSports Podcast and hit that notification button because it only helps out the podcast even further. So help a brother out, man. Help a brother out, please. I'll graciously appreciate it. And also, this is optional. Liking and subscribe to CashSports isn't optional, but what is optional is donating to that Cash App. Any proceeds that I receive, I'm definitely going to put back into the podcast because I just want to keep doing this more and more so I have more time to do it, right? I would prefer to be doing these videos earlier in the day, but, I got to work. I got to do other things, so I can't necessarily stream all the time, but I get it in where I can. So I don't want to waste you guys' time anymore. Let's get into these betting odds, right? So actually, let me switch up this camera a little bit. Okay, so you guys can see that a little bit better. So I know we tuned in. I know the game already happened between the Commanders and the Bears. Commanders were apparently favored -1.5 on the spread, with a total of 38.5 and a money line of -120. Commanders won that game 12-7. So if anybody who bet on the Washington Commanders, hey man, you just want some cash, or at least if you had a bunch of parlays and you just knocked one off the board, right? So we ain't gonna focus on that game anyway. That game is whatever. So the next game that I do want to talk about is the Cincinnati Bengals versus the Saints, right? The New Orleans Saints. Who that nation, right? Unfortunately, they're not favored to win this game. We got the Cincinnati Bengals favored to win this game with a -2 on the spread and a total of 43 points, right? And then Cincinnati Bengals have a money line of -140. So I'm not gonna lie, Cincinnati Bengals, they're on the fence right now. With this team They have to come out with this win. They had a bad start to the season, as they did last year. I mean, nobody really predicted them going to the Super Bowl and having the playoff run that they had last year. But it's very important to point out that teams like or games like this, when they're going against the Saints, even though they could be a tough team on the road, it doesn't really say here if they're on the road or not. But games like this, you have to cement yourself as a playoff team. If you're gonna be able to compete later down in the future, because we already know that division in the AFC between the Bengals, Steelers, Ravens, and Browns, that's a pretty tough division in itself. So to have any loss outside of that, especially to a team who doesn't even have their starting quarterback and their starting wide receiver is questionably injured also. So we just got to look into that. I got the Bengals winning that game. So next game now is the Jets versus the Packers. Packers are favored to win this game with a minus 7.5 on the spread and a total of 45 points. The money line of minus 350, right? So we already know what happened last week with the Packers, right? They got that L from the New York Giants, baby. Woo! That's what I'm talking about, right? So Packers, I see them. They're trying to come out in this game. They're probably going to try to, flip the script from last week. So they got another New York team on the schedule, right? So you're just going right down the road, figuratively speaking, but we know that they do play in the same stadium. But New York Jets is one of those teams you can't really overlook. Apparently they're DJ Reed, Sauce Gardner. I mean, they got some pretty good corners on their end, and I've seen what these brothers have been doing. They've been making plays. They've been making plays on the ball, not necessarily locking down corners, but hey, they are doing their thing. It wouldn't surprise me if the Jets do come out with this victory, given the fact that what their defense is doing, it looks like this team does have chemistry and they're looking better than before or better previously. But at the end of the day, I see Aaron Rodgers and the Packers coming out with this dub, especially with the loss that they had last week. I see the Packers coming out if they have any hopes of competing in their division. But we know that they are, so that's the reason why I got the Packers winning this game. Next on the line is the Vikings versus the Dolphins, baby. That's what I'm talking about. So Minnesota Vikings are minus 3.5 on the spread with a total of 46 and a money line of minus 175. So for me, I'm going to pick the Vikings in this game. I mean, we didn't know about the situation with Tua Tagovailoa. We don't know if he's going to play just yet. Things are leaning towards him playing. But, I mean, we don't know at the moment. We know that Teddy Bridgewater had a situation going on. I think he was like the first player to be taken out for the new concussion protocol. But if Tua Tagovailoa is playing in this game, honestly, I still think this would be a very good game. It's going to come down to the wire. I think it's going to be a tight game. But at the end of the day, I see the Vikings coming out strong, doing what they do, and coming out with that dub. But I think it's going to be a tight one. Honestly, if I probably had to guess a score for this game, I probably have to say 23-20. Maybe even higher. Maybe 33-30. I don't know. So next game on the line is the Patriots versus the Browns. The Browns are favored to win this game minus 2.5 on the spread with a total of 43 and a money line of minus 145, right? So this game right here, I think it's easy to pick the Browns, to be honest with you. I think it's very easy to pick the Browns in this situation, given the fact that the Patriots are simply just not the same team that they used to be in the past. And they're down to their third string quarterback, and Bailey Zappi. So, there's still some things up in the air on how this guy's going to be doing, and the level of production that he's been giving off lately. But he has been moderately decent quarterback at the position. He hasn't been making horrible mistakes. He's still been keeping the offense on the field, still making conversions. I mean, hey, he was able to go to overtime with Aaron Rodgers in his first QB start. So gotta give Buddy some credit there. But at the end of the day, man, with this, I just see the Browns. They have a really good defense, even though they don't have their starting quarterback, and that's another situation on it. So I ain't even going to elaborate on that. But yeah, man, I'm just gonna have the Browns on this one. But don't be surprised if the Patriots come out with an upset. So keyword on that. I'm not betting on this game though. But this is just me throwing out my 2 cents. All right. So Next game on the line is the Buccaneers versus the Steelers. Right, Tampa Bay is favored to win this game with a minus 8.5 on the spread, with a total of 45 and a money line of minus 400. So this is an easy one. Unfortunately, Pittsburgh Steelers are going through it right now. Even though Kenny Pickett, I personally like the pick of Kenny Pickett. I think he could have a better career, but it is his rookie season. So this is the time where he's going to be making a lot of mistakes, right? And so with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they got some injuries going on their own, but so do the Steelers. But given that, the Steelers do have a pretty messed up line. Even though I think they did a little bit better last week, but that's still not going to take away from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I mean, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers still have one of the best defenses in the league, despite the loss against the Kansas City Chiefs. I mean, it's still hard to run the football. I don't see Najee Harris particularly having a big day against his team. So I'm going to pick the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'm going to go with Tom Brady on this one, man. Can't bet against him all the time. So another game that I want to talk about now is the Jaguars versus the Colts, right? So the Colts are favored to win this game on the spread with -2 and a total of 42 and a money line of -130. So I'm gonna have to agree with this one. With the Colts being the favorite in this game, I can understand that, especially with the performance that they had last week. But it wouldn't surprise me if the Jaguars do come out with this win. The Jaguars have had the Indianapolis Colts number the past couple times. So it depends though. If this game is at Jacksonville, then I'm gonna pick the Jacksonville Jaguars with this one. But if not, I'm gonna have to go with the Colts. But that's probably what's going on. It's probably at home in Indianapolis, and then especially because of what happened last year, things could change. But at the end of the day, I think the Jaguars are still a much more complete team compared to the Colts. I mean, Matt Ryan just does not seem like that guy. So I'm gonna switch it up a little bit. I'm gonna say the Jaguars come out with this win, to be honest with you. So, all right. Next game now is the Ravens versus the Giants, right? The Ravens are favored to win this game, -6 on the spread, with a total of 45 and a money line of -250, right? So you know what? I'm gonna go with the upset on this one. I know it's my team, but remember, in the past, I've picked against my team winning. I've said before, probably consecutive weeks, I've been saying the Giants are not going to win their games. And this is my team. But now that I see them for what they are at this moment, even with this Ravens offense, I don't care. I am picking the Giants to win this game. I like what I'm seeing from this team. I like what they're doing. I like the job that Brian Daboll is doing for the New York Giants. I love the grit for this team also, and especially because the Baltimore Ravens defense is not what they used to be. I'm going to pick the Giants on this one, man. Saquon Barkley is going to have a monstrous day. He's going to have at least 100 yards rushing in that game. Now, as far as total scrimmage yard, you probably have like about 150, 130 scrimmage yards. So we're going to have to see on that. I could see him definitely getting some more receiving yards. So it's probably going to be like 170, 180, as he's the leading player in terms of total scrimmage yards. So the next game now is the 49ers versus the Falcons. 49ers are favored to win this game by -5.5 on the spread and a total of 44.5 and a money line of -250. So I'm not even going to second guess this. The 49ers are going to come out with this win. The 49ers have the number one defense in the league at the moment. And even though the 49ers are hit with some injuries also, I'm not going to bet against the 49ers at this moment, especially not against the Atlanta Falcons. I'm not trying to shit on the Falcons as of right now, because I've seen them been playing some good football, but so are the 49ers right now. And this defense is just immaculate. I love what I'm seeing. These guys are physical. Jimmy G, I mean, he's not necessarily the best quarterback, but he fits the system and it's making it work. Nothing much more to say there. I'm going with the Niners. Right, so another game, Cardinals versus the Seahawks. Cardinals are favored to win this game -2.5 in the spread with a total of 50.5 and a money line of 145. 5, right? So I'm not gonna hold you on this one, man. I'm not. Now remember, I'm saying this with the notion I don't know who's injured on each team in terms for the when it comes to for the Seahawks and the Cardinals, or just all the games in general. So I'm just going off what I know and in recent news. So sometimes some of these players last second they get like questionable or probable shit like that. So you don't really particularly know, but I'm gonna go with the Seahawks on this one, man. The Seahawks is just one of those teams that they keep shocking me, man. They just keep shocking me. And, the Cardinals, they've had a really bad start in some of their games. And Seahawks, they've just been a really high-scoring offense as of recently. So we're going to see some things. I think it's going to be a close game. But I'm still going to go with the Seahawks in this game, man. I just see something coming out from them. So the next game now is the Panthers versus the Rams, right? Rams are favored to win this game with a -10 on the spread and a total of 42 and money line of -500. So who's going to win this game? Rams. Nothing much more to say there. Baker Mayfield is out. Matt Rule is done. He's fired. He's out of here. So he's done data. I ain't even going to talk about that, man. Rams need this one for sure. So now the next game, which is probably the game of the week or one of the games of the week, is the Bills versus the Chiefs. So this is a matchup, man, that we're gonna see a playoff rematch right here between Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes, and boy, is this gonna be an exciting one. So I'm gonna give a hot take. I don't really think it's a hot take, but I mean it's pretty obvious. I mean, whoever comes out with the win in this game is definitely gonna be the leading MVP for this season. I mean, because Patrick Mahomes has been playing well, Josh Allen has been playing well, and then so both of these teams have been playing well, and so now we about to just see clash of the Titans right now. And so the Bills are favored to win this game with -2.5 in the spread, with a total of 54 and a money line of -145, right? So for me, I know how well Josh Allen has been playing, but I also see how well Patrick Mahomes is playing. And guess what? I'm still going to go with the Chiefs on this one, man. I already said before that the Chiefs weren't going to go to the playoffs before the season started. I was a buffoon for saying that. Yes, I admit it. I was dumb wrong for that. But at the end of the day, man, I see what Patrick Mahomes is doing, and I'm not gonna bet him. Not to say that I doubted him before, but I was just trying to put some speculation out there. The division was supposed to be better than what it was. So Russell Wilson wasn't supposed to be ass this year, so got to factor that in. So yeah, man, I'm just pick the Chiefs. Even though it would be reasonable to pick the Bills, especially how they lost last year. But at the end of the day, man, I just see Patrick Mahomes doing his thing and then continuing off the performance that he had last week. All right, so now to another game, which is the game of the week, right? The game of the week. I just want to let you guys know this is the game, right? Is the Cowboys versus the Eagles, right? Eagles are favored to win this game with a -6.5 on the spread and a total of 42. A money line of -275, right? And then on this game, man, this is definitely gonna be a tough one. Cooper Rush, it's looking like he may or may not be the quarterback. We don't know. It might be a game time decision when it comes to Dak Prescott. We've seen some news in terms of, if Dak Prescott is going to play. Even CeeDee Lamb came out and said that, he's been catching some passes from Dak Prescott, and he has his grip. He has his his throwing power, so he can grip the ball. So that is good news for the Cowboys. But bad news for Cooper Rush, because I know Cooper Rush, man, he's high off that success right now. He's feeling himself right now. Cooper Rush, right? He's trying to get that dirt off his shoulder. Right? He the hot man right now. Cooper Rush is the hot man right now. But at the end of the day, I'm still gonna go with Dak Prescott. I just don't see the level of productivity that everybody is seeing for them to say that Cooper Rush can take Dak Prescott's job. I think it's ridiculous because, he's only 5 games in with a really good defense. Take away that defense, look at what he did against the Los Angeles Rams, man. He had 102 yards. If your defense wasn't that good, you think you'll be able to win a game against the defending Super Bowl champs passing for only 102 yards. Yeah, get the hell out of here, man. I got the Eagles winning this game. The Eagles. I heard a very phenomenal stat when it comes to the Eagles defense, and they said the most receiving yards that the Eagles defense has given up was 102, and that was by like Terry McLaurin on the Washington Commanders. And then the next amount of receiving yards, I believe, was like 70 something. So I can't get it off the top of my head with the exact numbers, but I know for a fact that with Terry McLaurin, it was like about 103, 102 or something like that. So, this Eagles secondary is definitely elite. We've seen Darius Slay make some plays, and Jalen Hurts right now, he has to come up. He has to come up, point blank, period. If he's going to be looked at as the franchise guy moving forward for the Philadelphia Eagles, this is one of the games that he's going to have to win. And what were they saying on, these mainstream platforms or ESPN, Fox Sports, and things of that nature? They were saying that this is probably the most important game for Jalen Hurts, and I completely agree. And so right now, I got the Eagles winning this game, man. Fuck the Cowboys. So last game on the books is the Broncos versus the Chargers. Chargers are favored to win this game minus 4.5 on the spread with a total of 45.5 and a money line of minus 225. So this is a Monday night game, right? And then is it a Monday night game? Yeah. I'm tripping. Yeah, so this is a Monday night game. I'm gonna pick the Chargers, man. Justin Herbert. Yeah, I'm high on the level of play that Justin Herbert has been producing, especially even with the messed up rib, right? Even though the Broncos, they have a good defense, the Chargers got a good defense too, even though they got injuries. I mean, every team has injuries, but right now I just don't see the Broncos necessarily beating the Chargers. Not to say like it's impossible, because it's only 4 points, on the spread. But I'm just not convinced. I would be crazy to say that the Broncos are going to win this game. But, they could shift that momentum because it is the league. Anything could happen. But if I'm a betting man, I'm going to pick the Chargers for this game. Right? So, because our QB left, we ain't need him anyway. Who you talking about, Void? Who you talking about? I didn't see the comments. I was on the other tab, so I wasn't able to see no comments. Right? I'm gonna put in that just in case anybody wants to join in. I'm gonna stay on for just a little bit just to talk some football, talk some sports. Right? Who's your team though, Void? I don't know your football team. I know you're a Cleveland fan. Are you a Cleveland Browns fan? Oh, it's Seattle. Man, I mean, but bro, Geno Smith is playing better than Russell Wilson right now. Honestly, if I'm keeping it 100 with you, the Seattle Seahawks will have one of the best offenses in the league right now. Geno Smith has been playing great. At this moment, if I'm picking between Russell Wilson and Geno Smith, give me Geno, bro. I think Seattle's in a good spot. I mean, Tyler Lockett is still a really good wide receiver. DK Metcalf is one of the best receivers. Not the best, but he's one of the best receivers, right? It was a big hurt that Rashad Penny is out for the year though. That right there was a big L for the Seahawks, But besides that, man, Seahawks is they're overachieving at this moment. They're certainly overachieving. I'm gonna say that right now. They are, because nobody suspected them to even win games. Nobody expected Geno Smith to do anything. I did it, So that's why I'm saying we don't need him. Who? Russell Wilson or Geno? Who you talking about? Yeah, man. So while I'm waiting for that, but there were also some other news going on in the league. So I just want to at least name drop this right now. So Deshaun Watson, unfortunately, I do, because it's news, I do want to keep you guys posted. So Deshaun Watson was hit with another lawsuit while his suspension is still ongoing. I miss old Seahawks. Oh yeah, Legion of Doom. Let me finish this though. Yeah, so Deshaun Watson is basically faced with another sexual misconduct civil lawsuit, right? So it's gonna be interesting to see how this one plays out. I'm not gonna hold you, man. If this is true, that this man is really went through with this again. Like if he really went through it, he's a bonehead. If he really got enough, bro, I wouldn't even get a massage, man. That man needed to stretch. That man needed to do yoga, bro. Deshaun Watson shouldn't be near any massages. He should be doing none of that, bro. I mean, bro. I don't even know what to say. Like I'm being 100%. I don't know what to say. I was having a conversation about this a while back, and I was saying if Deshaun Watson were to get himself in a situation like this again, he would be the biggest fucking idiot to ever get himself in that position again. I mean, he dodged a bullet, bro. I mean, he died like everybody can agree it wasn't even a bullet. He dodged a missile. He dodged a nuke, bro. That man could have been in jail for a very long time. If the grand jury hadn't passed through, all those allegations, everything that was going on, even the fact that it was just a civil situation, it was still a very bad thing to have labeled, attached to your image, bro. And then, like I said, this is all allegedly, right? If this happened again, right? Because civil lawsuits is literally just hearsay, she say, hearsay. We would have to see the evidence that's being presented to the court to see, to see how it actually went down. But sometimes people can settle before it even gets to that point, and just because a person settles doesn't necessarily mean that the person did it. You just try not to go through that whole proceeding, especially when you're in the spotlight. You don't want to have these things keep, sticking to you. But Deshaun Watson just has a really bad habit of just getting into this situation, bro. I mean, come on, bro. You had 24 civil lawsuits against you, right? You were trying to go for a quarter of the century mark. Come on, bro. Come on, man. Are you serious? This is dumb. This is dumb, stupid, idiot. If this is really what you're doing, bro, you're an idiot, bro. All right, so I'm glad you asked, Void. So basically, with the Deshaun Watson situation, he was in Houston at the time, and he was basically getting a shit ton of massages. I mean, you were in, happy endings. He was a serial happy ender. So, no disrespect to any of the victims, of course, but there were 24 women that came out against him, that were suing him, because they were saying that they felt extremely uncomfortable. I mean, like, the man had like a teeny tiny towel on his shit, on his parts. And he was trying to come out with something. You know what I mean? My man was on demon time, in those massages. But to get a little bit serious though, because I don't want to keep joking when it comes to something like this, right? And so all these women came out, 24 women came out. They were suing him. And so there has never really been a situation like this where you had 24 women come out against you saying that that you were performing sexual misconduct, you were sexually harassing them, and even some cases sexually assaulting them. And like I said, this was all through Deshaun Watson going through the process of getting a massage. They were all masseuses. All of them were masseuses. And so once it got to the point of the court system, the grand jury declined to indict him twice. They declined to charge him twice. And so further on, it went to the civil situation, and then Deshaun Watson had settled with most of those cases. If I'm not mistaken, I believe there's only one that he wasn't able to settle. And so, yeah, I know. And so, basically, what happened now, the NFL, with everything going on, even despite him not being suspended, or not going to jail and being indicted, just because of the fact that image was on you, you're out there, your name is out there because it's attached to, being accused of sexual harassment and sexual assault. The NFL suspended him. He was suspended by the NFL for 11 games. So he's currently suspended. And so he's not going to be able to play up until week 13, I believe, against the Houston Texans. So he's currently serving that suspension right now at this moment. And guess what? And this is the craziest part about it too. He just returned to the team this week. You get what I'm saying? He returned to the team this week, and not to play. He was able to return to the facilities. He's able to, attend team practices, things like that. But he can't, I think he can attend group meetings, but he can't practice. He can't play in games. He can't be on the sidelines and things of that nature. But he can attend strength and conditioning. He can things like that. Certain team meetings, things like that. I don't know the in and outs of the whole thing, but you get the gist of it. And so he came back, I think Tuesday. He came back on Tuesday. And this news came out 2 days later, bro. Oh my God. Like I said, for you to get yourself back into this situation is the dumbest fucking thing I've ever seen, bro. It is the dumbest thing I've ever seen, man. For real. But another thing that I do want to talk about is this Washington Commanders situation, right? They did play today, so I'm just gonna bring that up for a teeny tiny bit. We're still gonna talk about it. For anybody that doesn't know Dan Snyder, Dan Snyder is the owner for the Washington Commanders, right? And so he's been somewhat of a putrid owner for much of his time with that team. There were allegations that wasn't even really allegations at this point. At the time when the team was called the Redskins, there were numerous reports of people being offended by the name, and people were trying to force him to change the name, but he was fixated on saying that it was tradition. What tradition you talking about, bro? what tradition you on? So that was one. He's one of those owners who just come in and want to be a GM, and he doesn't know shit about drafting or drafting players or evaluating talent. He just probably watches ESPN and says, yeah, I'm picking that guy. That man drafts players like Mel Kiper. And so let's get into recent news. So Dan Snyder, before, there were some very harsh allegations or very harsh things that came out that was going on at the workplace for the Washington Commanders organization. There was apparently a very toxic work environment. They were, excuse my French here, but they were pimping out, they were basically pimping out their cheerleaders. Yeah, man. And there was just a lot going on in that workplace. And so, obviously with the NFL, some things like this it's a tough situation to get yourself into, because with NFL owners, it's very hard to kind of check your own people, especially when the only people that can kick out an owner is the owners themselves. And so for Dan Snyder to get kicked out, or for him to be forced to sell the team, 24 owners have to vote against him. And here's the craziest thing about it: because of the news that's been circulating around Dan Snyder and the Washington Commanders, and I do mean it's big news. I mean, Congress is on this. Yes, like the U.S. Congress is on his ass, trying to get to the bottom of what's really going on with the Washington Commanders. So I think that in itself is a very interesting situation. And so with Dan Snyder, he's bringing it forth. He made it basically got to a situation where Roger Goodell had to answer to Congress for Dan Snyder while he was on his yacht vacation, chilling, while his team's out here getting their ass whooped, man. Not that I have a problem with it. I mean, they're in the NFC East. I'm a Giants fan. I give a damn about the Washington Commanders. I don't give a fuck about that. So but where it comes to though, but not when it comes to obviously the toxic work environment. I think nobody should really be going through that particular situation, and so I hope this comes to the better end of things, because the Washington Commanders, you could whenever a team just has a really bad owner, you could tell when you could almost see it on the team. I've never seen a winning franchise with a bad owner. You get what I'm saying? Like a continuously winning franchise with a bad owner. It's very rare that I see a situation like that. And even if that is the case, that's because the owner doesn't mingle around in football operations. He leaves it and trusts it. He trusts it to people who do know the sport and basically can run the day-to-day operations. And so now, Dan Snyder, he said some pretty crazy things, man. He was saying, he was saying, the NFL is like a mafia. Like all these owners, he's digging up dirt. Even coming out this far in hiring, and this is not, this is not me coming up with this out of my ass. He hired private investigators to dig up dirt on other NFL owners. Yes, you heard that. That man is trying to hold on to this team as much as humanly possible. And I don't blame him though, because the NFL is cash cow. You feel me? You got an NFL team, but shit, I'm not gonna try to let that go neither. I don't give a damn if it was Jaguars, Browns, any team, man. You're gonna try to hold on to that team as long as possible. Hey, but at the end of the day, it only comes down to one thing, because first off, the NFL owners have to agree to kick him out or to force him to sell the team in the first place. And, we got to see where this thing is going to go. And then we also got to see where this thing is going to go with the Jaguars. Sorry about that. We got to see where this thing is going to go with Congress and Dan Snyder, because that right there is kind of the biggest piece that we got to take away from it, right? Because that's government stuff, bro. Even the Jaguars, slicer. Yeah, I would. Why not? If you wanted to buy, if you had to buy an NFL franchise, right? And they said, all right, the only team you could buy is the Jacksonville Jaguars. You tell me you wouldn't buy the Jaguars? Come on, man. I would. Yeah, I'll buy that team. What you talking about, man? Come on now. And remember, just because it's a Jacksonville Jaguar doesn't necessarily mean they don't got to stay there. You know what I mean? Like, if I'm the owner, I'm taking that team elsewhere. I'll be like, hey, get out of here, bro. We don't got to stay in Jacksonville. I don't got nothing against Jacksonville. But I say, hey, there's definitely some other teams. There's definitely some other cities where that I'll probably move to if not specifically Jacksonville Jaguars, but hey, you never know, And so, anybody want to have any other questions before I head out of here? Any other comments? Other comments, concerns? Because I already did my part. I gave out, gave out the odds. I gave out the spread. So I know at least gave you guys some information. I did drop the link in the comment section for anybody that does want to tune in and join, talk some shit about some sports. I'm definitely game on that. Yeah. Oh yeah. So yeah, Void, you said I missed the old Seahawks. Yeah, them old Seahawks, bro. Nah, they was some dogs, man. That Legion of Boom with Cam Chancellor, Richard Sherman. I forgot who was the other corner on that end, but I know he went to the Eagles afterward. Well, no, not the Eagles. I think he went to the Jaguars, I believe. I may not be there. One of those two teams. And then they even and then defensive front too was they had some dogs on their front too, man. That was a really good team, man. The Seahawks, that was a really, really good team at that time. So it's sad to see that the Legion of Doom is gone. And my favorite player from that secondary too was Cam Chancellor, man. That boy was dogging. What's up with that workout plan? What you mean? My workout plan? I work out. Hey, bro, I get it in whenever. I worked out today. I did some. What did I do today? I did arms today. Yeah, I did arms, man. Come on, bro. I get it all day, every day. All day, every day. Just like y'all, man. Hey, if I don't want to hurt nobody's feelings and shit, but if you fat as fuck, go to the gym, bro. Go work out, man. You don't want that. Marshawn Lynch. Nah, of course, bro. Marshawn Lynch was that guy, man. For sure. One, he a homie for you. He like a famous homie. He a famous homie on the block. He should definitely have 2 Super Bowls, though. We already know what that situation is like. Should have handed that man the ball in the Super Bowl. Anything else? Anything else before I head out of here? Void, I know you better be hitting that gym too. Better be hitting that gym too, Void. I don't hear no excuses from you, man. I don't want you out here looking like Barney and shit. You were supposed to send me something? I was supposed to send you something? Was I? You know what? Text me on that. Text me on the specifics. There's so many things that can slip my mind. So sometimes you gotta remind me, man. You gotta remind me on things like that. All right. So yeah. So text me on the specifics. We could talk more about it. So that is it, though. I'm gonna conclude. I'm gonna cut it off right here. So thank you everybody that did tune in. Once again, Void, you always looking out, man. I always appreciate you coming on the channel and giving that thumbs up as always, right? Always appreciate you, bro. And also like and subscribe to CashSports Podcast. I would graciously appreciate it. For those that might have been watching the channel. Workout plan. Okay. I got you. All right, I got you on that. So for those that probably tuned in a little bit later, I did talk about the NFL betting odds and spreads. So you can probably rewind the video a little bit earlier, probably way earlier into the video. I mean, we have 43 minutes, so probably I say like around 5 minutes. You could probably see where I started to talk about all the bets and the spreading odds and stuff like that. So, but also if you want more, like I said, like and subscribe to CashSports Podcast. I would graciously appreciate it, and hit that notification button too, because whenever I hit live stream, I don't just sit here and talk betting odds. I sit here and we debate, man. We debate ball, we debate football, we debate boxing, we debate MMA. I mean, you name it, bro. You name it. So, do I have anything else? No, I don't. Okay. All right. So thank you all again for tuning in to CashSports Podcast. Void, remember, hey, a workout plan. Okay, yeah. I'm gonna tap into it. So I'm gonna just get that ready for you. I mean, now you already told me what it is. So I'm gonna figure something out for you. But you're gonna have to send me like your height, weight, and things of that nature. So things I can help you kind of give you better advice, because everybody's body type is different. I have an extremely fast metabolism, so my body is probably a little bit different, probably different from yours in that aspect, right? So I'm gonna just cut it off here. Thank you all again for tuning into CashSports podcast. And have a wonderful rest of the day or night or whatever time it is. Have a good time, guys.